Welcome back to This is VANCOLOUR. There is a bear in my yard. It makes a mess, and I don't know why it chose my yard. I mean, there are other yards and there are other parks in my neighborhood. As adorable as this bear is, I am terrified. So here to explain what can be done, the executive director of the North Shore Black Bear Society, Holly Reisner. Holly, hello. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Mo. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Buddy Bear in my neighborhood likes to take garbage from my neighbors. I'm not leaving the garbage out. It's taking my neighbor's garbage and coming to my yard and making a mess. Why my yard?
Well, you must have a really nice, peaceful yard. It's a nice place to be. But you have to, if you can go back and think about bear behavior, and it goes all the way back to bear evolution. So the bears that we have on the North Shore are black bears.
Right.
And black bears evolved in forested environments. So that means that they're kind of timid because they've got these trees that they can climb. So they have specialized claws for tree climbing. And when they're scared or feel threatened, they go up a tree, and that's their safe place, and they wait up there. So when they're eating, and we see this with bears, with black bears when they're fishing for salmon in the streams, they'll catch a fish and they don't eat it there, in the river. They take the fish into the forest because that is their safe place. That's where they've grown up and they know it's safe. So they'll find some nice tree cover and they'll take their salmon in there. And one thing about that is that bears can be picky when there's lots of food available. So with the salmon, they like certain bits of the salmon. They like the brains.
Right.
And they like the roe. And sometimes they'll eat the skin. But then they leave the rest of the fish there in the woods. And so that's a really important cycle in our ecosystems where those fish remains rot in the forest where they're left, and it helps the trees grow.
But instead of fish in the woods, it's garbage in my driveway and my yard.
So that's the thing. On the North Shore, we have this huge urban wildlife interface, right? It may be the city in the world with the biggest urban wildlife interface. So we've got, if you look at our geography, we've got all the mountains and the forests, and we have ravines that run down through the city all the way down.
Right.
And so those ravines are green spaces, and they're wonderful corridors for bears and other wildlife. So this is a safe place for bears. It's all covered, it's green, and then the creeks also often offer them food sources. So
now we know that the bears are coming out of hibernation in April.
Yeah, March to April.
Okay, March to April.
Yeah.
What can we do to be bear aware in neighborhoods like mine where there are bears, aside from not leaving your garbage out?
Yeah, well, not leaving your garbage out is huge.
Yeah.
So we take reports of wildlife sightings all the time at the North Shore Black Bear Society, and the number one attractant that we see in people's yards is garbage and food waste, so your green bin. The other things that people may not know are bird feeders. So any kind. Yeah. They love bird seed. They love suet. They love hummingbird nectar. So that's the energy drinks for bears. So,
okay.
So all these things are things that we need to think about on our properties. So because, as I say, with our geography, we're going to have bears roaming through our neighborhoods, roaming through our properties, and that's fine. And we're so lucky to get to see these incredible animals, but we don't want to invite them onto our property for a meal. So we've got to be bear aware. We've got to think about keeping our garbage and food waste secure, so inside your garage or inside your shed. But more than that, you don't want it to smell. So,
right. But like, what if I'm growing vegetables in my garden, or if I have a berry bush? Will that attract a bear as well?
Well, we don't seem to get a lot of attraction to vegetable gardens, which is nice to know. I did have one bear apparently steal someone's tomato, but that's the only report I've ever heard of vegetables. But fruit is a huge attractant. So particularly fruit trees. So in the fall, apples, figs, plums, anything you can think of, bears love them. And they have amazing memories. So if they have come to your apple tree this year, then next year they'll remember that they found a meal there, and they'll come back again to check to see your tree is whether it's ripe. So that's one. But berry bushes can also be an attractant. So they do love blueberries in particular. I already had one bear eating somebody's strawberries that were growing in their garden. So she was not too happy about that.
Now, really quickly, like in about 30 seconds, let's say I see a bear in my yard, or someone else sees a bear in their yard. What should they do right away?
Okay, first of all, if the bear is not eating and it's just passing through, and you meet a bear, we want you to stop and talk to the bear. So just stay in a really calm voice. It doesn't matter what you say, what language you speak. You're just going to talk in a calm voice to that bear. So bears are really smart. Like I said, they know us as humans by our voices. They hear our voice and they think, okay, human. And they don't want to be close to us.
That's good.
They're used to living around us, but they don't want us in their personal bubble.
Yeah.
So you just talk to the bear. And then the second really important thing is to back away from the bear. So don't turn around and run. We don't want to trigger a chase instinct.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
But you just
Good
back
advice.
away. You got to give them space. So we can get complacent by seeing these animals in our neighborhoods all the time, but we need to remember they're wild animals and we need to respect them and give them lots and lots of space so that they can leave the area. And that's generally what happens.
Don't invite them inside.
No, please don't. Please don't do that.
Holly, I appreciate all the bear awareness tips. Thank you so much for this.
Awesome. Great. Thanks a lot, Mo.
Folks, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Fiona Forbes, Nina Savage, and Holly Reisner for their time tonight. Please email me your photos of bears in your neighborhood or photos of Paul Haysom. Mo at thisisvancolour.com. Also, quiet quit social media so I can too. I'm at VANCOLOUR. Next week is our season finale with BC Premier David Eby, and I got some grievances. But until then, be colorful. Peace.